Now, since the last Jurassic Park movie was in the summer of 2001, I'm thinking that it's safe to assume at this point that dinosaurs are indeed, once and for all, now and forever, finally, extinct. Yes, indeed, they are extinct. But you know, rumors of extinction in Hollywood tend to be greatly exaggerated. There's been talk of a Jurassic Park 4 now for the last few years. And when I say talk, what I mean is people who worked on the last 3 movies will find themselves at a party and they'll go, you know what, we ought to make another one. Yeah, we should do another one of these days. Yeah, we ought to do that. That's about as far as it's gotten at this point, folks. Now, I know we have some folks visiting us here from Utah. Who else is here from out of state? Not from California. Any non-Californians in the group? Where are you from, sir? Colorado? How about you, miss? Holland? Very cool. How about you, back row? Brazil. All right, you guys probably won't believe this, but a lot of people complain that here in Southern California, we don't get any weather. Day after day, same old boring sunshine. Wait, why am I even talking about weather when we can just go to the Today Show's Al Roker for the forecast?
Hi, everybody. Here's today's forecast for the Universal Backlot. It's going to be sunny and dry in 6 Points, Texas. Cool and cloudy in Little Europe. Expect snow and sleet on New York Street, and we've got a high chance of precipitation for Skull Island, Amity Island, Island of Today, now here's a look at what's going on in your neck of the woods.
Yikes, that's not a good thing. I don't know where you're getting that out. It's on oh my goodness, Leah, look at that. I think Al made the wow. Well, don't worry, folks. If we were in any real danger, why, we'd hear a distant rumbling sound. A rumbling sound just like that one. You better brace yourselves because here it comes, head straight for us right now. Here it comes. It's a flash flood. Obviously, Al and I were playing a little bit of a gag. I mean, here that flood is created by dumping thousands of gallons of water from the top of the hill. The water's flowing under the bridge is being recycled back up to the top of the hill. The rain you're seeing is created by sprinklers high up in the trees. They're called rain towers, and what they do is they spray the water up into the air so that it falls down naturally, just like rain. Now, I don't know how many aspiring actors we have on the tram today. I have to tell you, there's a moment in every actor's career where you have to do something so ridiculous, off the wall, uncomfortable, undignified, that all you can say to yourself is, so this is showbiz. Take a look at this clip from the movie Big Fat Liar. I think this may have been one of Oscar nominee Paul Giamatti's moments.
You can't run a wolf, kid! Yeah, we'll see about that.
Okay, folks, now imagine, if you will, that it's you filming this scene instead of Paul Giamatti. You get washed down the hill, the director yells cut, you stand up, you are dripping wet head to toe, and the director says, perfect, let's do it again. It does happen, let me tell you. Right now, folks, we are about to enter a section of our lot called Old Mexico, and these sets are recently used in the movie Hop. Now, take a look at these arches over here on your right. Remember what they look like when you look at this clip from Hop.
Crown the Easter Bunny.
Look, Dad, I want to drum in a band. I want to see the world.
Maybe the Easter Bunny sees every country in one night.
Really, Dad? What about China?
Oh, it's Candy Woman! Alright, so we haven't cracked China yet.
Right now we are about to cross the Rio Grande from Old Mexico into 6 Points, Texas, and here's one of my favorite cowpokes to tell you a little bit more about it.
Did you know that more movies have been shot on these streets than any other spot in the world? Now, during the silent film era, they could shoot up to 6 movies at the same time, one on each one of these 6 streets. That's why it's called 6 Points, because each street had its own bank, its own sheriff's office, its own saloon, and its own hotel. Now, it turns out that this town ain't big enough for both of us. So get on back onto your tram stagecoach thing and get the heck out of here. Go on.
Alrighty, folks. Now, if you take a look around you, you might notice some of the doors are just a little bit smaller than they normally would be. That's so we could put the cowboys in front of them and they would look bigger, brawnier, and more husky. while some of the other doors are actually bigger. That's so we can put the Western women in front of them and they would look smaller and more petite. So you don't need Jenny Craig, you don't need the Atkins diet, folks, you just need a really big door. That's all anybody needs, myself included. Now, I mentioned, folks, that we've taken audiences from the bottom of the ocean to the surface of the moon. Well, here comes the bottom of the ocean, and you're instinctively looking on your right-hand side because you see water over there. Now, if anything, that's the top of the ocean over there on your right. The bottom of the ocean is going to be on your left-hand side, and it'll be on your screens as well. That's our, hang on, that's our underwater tank. And what we'll do with that tank is we'll fill it up with water. Then we'll plop the actors inside like so. Then we'll have the camera shoot through portholes outside the tank. Like we did with Tom Hanks, Dan Aykroyd, and Alexandra Paul from Dragnet. And there it is over there on your left. That's the bottom of the ocean. What about the surface of the moon, huh? We're driving on it. This asphalt road we're driving on right now was used as the moon's surface in another Tom Hanks movie, Apollo 13, directed by Oscar winner Ron Howard. Find that illusion hard to swallow? Well, how about this one? Over here on your right is New York's Central Park, at least as much as the camera needs to see. And right next to the park set, we have Park Lake, which was used as the entire Pacific Ocean for the TV show McHale's Navy with Ernest Borgnine and Tim Conway. And you're probably thinking, Peter, how would they do that? The lake is so small. Well, it's the same principle that we used to film this scene from Peter Jackson's King Kong. It's the SS Venture arriving on Skull Island. Check it out. Now, Peter Jackson searched the world over to find the perfect ship that could double as the SS Venture, and the art department added several period set pieces to transform that vessel into a 1930s-style freighter. Now, earlier, we showed you a virtual recreation of Skull Island using computer animation. Right now, we're going to show you the real thing. But before we do that, we're going to need to do some special effects of our own. Now, if you're a fan of the Classic Studio Tour, you probably know where I'm going with this. Now, on the count of 3, I'm going to need everybody to repeat the following line with me. Part the waters. Ready? Here we go. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Part the waters! Let's see what happens here. That's what happens. Yes, sir. We're going to be taking you below sea level in just a bit, so you'll be able to see a view very similar to the one that Peter Jackson had when he was making King Kong. Pick up any personal belongings you don't want getting wet, and beware, folks, there may be some more water just around the corner. By the way, as we go in, take a look off to your left-hand side and on your screens as well. As you will see, the SS Venture and Skull Island are actually highly detailed miniatures. Believe it or not, this is as big as Skull Island ever got in the movie. Now, the rain in this scene was created with rain towers that we saw earlier at the flash flood, while the fog, waves, and other physical effects were created with techniques that have been around since the earliest days of film. And on screen, it looks absolutely real. But, you know, even with all that attention to detail, things can still go horribly, horribly wrong. Yep, yep, sure. So all it takes is a duck to kill the shark. Right now we're approaching Universal's prop department. A prop is anything on a set that's not nailed down to a set. It can be something as small as a paperclip or as big as those lampposts back there. And a lot of these props were used in this next part of our backlot that we're about to look at, called the Square of Warriors, which was actually used as the fictitious country of Genovia for the Disney film Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement. That movie stars Julie Andrews and Anne Hathaway. And for you folks that prefer your movies to have a lot more fighting and a lot less tea parties, the guys, I mean, come on, who are we kidding? Here's how Square of Warriors looks in some other films. It was built in 1960 for Stanley Kubrick's epic film Spartacus, starring Kirk Douglas and Lord Laurence Olivier. Since that time, it's been used in all kinds of things, most notably as Egypt for the Scorpion King, starring The Rock in the title role. Now, I mentioned earlier that the world is literally just around the corner here on our backlot. Today, we're going to prove that as we take you from ancient Rome to the streets of Paris, or London, or Berlin, or Madrid, or any other European area that we want. See, this part of our backlot we're about to enter is called Little Europe, and it's called that because we can make it any European area that we want simply by changing the language on the signs. And Little Europe was actually used as India for the TV show Heroes. It was also used the TV show Chuck, in the movie Night and Day, and in all 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Those movies are all from Walt Disney Productions. They're all based on the popular attraction at that other place, and they all star Johnny Depp, Jeffrey Rush, sorry, I had to say that last name real fast, otherwise the teenage girls go gaga goo and I lose them for 10 minutes. Yeah, go ahead and laugh. I'm not scraping another 15-year-old off the ceiling with a chisel. That's an experience that you only have to live through once. Now, getting back to Universal... Excuse me. Getting back to Universal Studios, which is why we're all here. You can't talk about Universal Studios, especially Little Europe, without talking about monster movies. And we did invent the genre with such classics as Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman. A lot of those were shot in part in this section of our lot over here on your right, called the Court of Miracles. And here now are just some of the many monsters that have skulked their way through Little Europe at one point or another. Take a look. What? Alright, look, I know I'm not a matinee idol, but come on, that's a little much. Boy, Paul, that's Hollywood for you. Just because you don't look like Orlando Bloom or Brad Pitt or Shia LaBeouf or that Justin Bieber, Bibbidi-Bobbidi Boober kid, whatever his name is, they think you're a muck. Anyway, now, I wasn't 100% sure we were going to get to do this, and to be honest, I'm still not 100% sure. But it looks like we've got a real treat in store for you up the road. We're going to take you inside of a working soundstage. It's a Soundstage 50 that we have coming up, and this is a unique one, too, because it's the only 2-story soundstage in Hollywood. On the bottom half, which is what we're going to be looking at, we've recreated a subway scene, and on the top half, we have recreated a street scene, and that's what we call a Steadicam shot. That's where we can have the camera follow the actors up the steps and onto the street, and it would look extremely realistic. In fact, some of you might even recognize this set from Beverly Hills Cop 3, starring Eddie Murphy. Some of that movie was shot right inside here. Now, this is a hot set, meaning that it's all prepped up and ready for filming. In fact, if you look on your left-hand side, you're going to see some lights and cameras and props and stuff. Now, everything that you see in here does in fact work. The ticket machines give out real tickets, the telephones really do call out, and the steps lead right on up to the street scene above. That's the only way you can get up there, by the way, is to take the steps. You can't get up there any other way. You also have to put quarters in the turnstiles in order to get them to work. That's how the crew pays for their lunches on this movie set. They take the quarters out of the turnstiles, then they go get themselves a pizza